Dear learners, do you think that people from all around the world can live at peace with feelings of brotherhood in global village? If you think so, don't forget to answer me in the comment section. So, welcome back to my class. Today we'll discuss an interesting poem, The Awakening Age by Ben Okri. So, today in this poem series, we'll discuss about this interesting modern poem, The Awakening Age, and we'll come to know how this modern poem so explains and so asks us, appeals us to live with the feelings of brotherhood, to live with the feelings of peace, and to live with the feelings of fraternity. So, dear learners, please, but before I start the class, don't forget to subscribe my channel. My as usual request to you, and if you are new to this channel, and if you have not subscribed my channel, don't forget to subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon so that you will be notified for the first. Okay, so let's start our discussion. We will start our discussion from the author. So the author of this poem, or the poet, is Ben Okri. He was born in 1959, and he is a Nigerian poet and novelist. So he has won the Booker Prize with his novel The Famished Road, or for his novel The Famished Road. This poet has, or the author has won the Booker Prize. So then he writes about potential of Africa and the world for self transformation. Basically, in his writings or in his poems, he writes about how can we transform from ourselves by being very conservative to being very so secular. So this author or the author basically talks about how to be secular, how to be community loving, how to live with others in a very brotherly way. So now we will start discussing the poem. Dear learners, the poem starts with this way. O you who travel the meridian line. The speaker of this poem so says, O you who travel the meridian line. Now you will be confused. What could be the meaning of these meridian lines? So the meaning of this meridian line is an imaginary line from the North Pole to the South Pole. So this imaginary line is basically taken as a reference to determine the place, geological place, and the time or the longitudinal so position of any object. So meridians are drawn on maps to help you describe the position of place. If you want to see, so you can see. So look at here. These are called meridians line, and this one is called prime meridian, and other longitudinal lines are called meridian lines. So these are imaginary lines. Okay. Now look at here. Basically, the speaker of this poem is saying that those who travel from Africa to different parts of Europe and US for the hope of their better future, for study, for job, and for secure future. So the speaker is saying that why people from those civil war torn countries of Africa travel to Europe. Why people from war torn countries travel to Europe? Because of the better future, because of the better education. So the speaker addresses to those people who so in the hope of better education, future, and life travel from their countries to European or developed countries. So, oh, you who travel the meridian line, may the vision of a new world within you shine. Why we go? So, people from Nepal also, students from Nepal also, after completing their plus two or after completing their bachelor's, they travel from Nepal to Australia, Canada, US, and Europe. Why? So hoping that they will have better future, hoping that they will have good life there, because they don't see, or we see that in Nepal we don't have any future. Okay, so may eyes that have lived with poverty's rage. So here then the speaker says in third line, may eyes that have lived with poverty's rage. So here the speaker is addressing to those people who so lived in poverty in their country, in their state, who were compelled to live in poverty because they didn't have job, they didn't have employment, they didn't have any work there. They suffered from poverty due to war, conflict, and different kinds of so hatred, discrimination. See through to the glory of the awakening age. Look at here. The speaker here says that the time has come, and that this time is the awakening age. The age where one goes for job, the age where one goes for technology, the age where one goes for so development, progress, not for the hatred, discrimination based on different kind of so caste, religion, class, and based on different kind of tribe. So these kind of conservative thoughts, these kind of conservative practices, social practices where you keep on discriminating people based on different ethnicity, based on different religion should be avoided, because the time is of awakening age. This is the age of education, technology, and communication. So we should rather think about with the progressive mindset. Okay. So now look at here. Then the speaker says, "For we are all richly linked in hope." So how we survive, how humans survive, humans survive, or we survive with hope. If we don't have hope, then we will what, our life will have no meaning, or our existence will have no meaning. So we go from one place to another. People from Nepal migrate to US, Australia, Canada. Why? Because they have hope that their life will be better. So we are linked in hope. All those people who migrate from poorer countries to developed countries in the hope of better future, they are all connected through hope. Even in history, like a mountain rope. So everyone who migrate from poor countries to developed countries, so they have a kind of same history. So we suffer from different kind of conflicts, different kind of oppression, suppression, and we leave our place in search of, in pursuit of life, liberty, and a kind of happiness. So our history is tied like a mountain rope. No one is like a separate island. Okay, every human being is connected. Okay, so no one can live aloof from other. So our history is connected. And if our history is connected, if our origin is connected, then why there is hatred based on ethnicity, based on religion, based on caste and class? Because everyone is human. Then further the speaker says, together we can ascend to a new height. If we work together for the betterment of this world, for the betterment of this life, for the betterment of our society, we can achieve new height of humanity, new height of progress, new height of civilization, new height of development. So we have to be together. We should have feelings of brotherhood, fraternity. We shouldn't have feeling of isolation, because we are living in global village. So we are living in global village, and in global village we should never have that kind of segregated feelings. Recently we saw when Ukraine was invaded by Russia, many countries they allied with Ukraine, and many other countries they might have allied, or they might have sided with, they might have gone with Russia. But now look at here, why we are so much we why we behave so much high, so hypocritically. We should not behave hypocritically, because not only Ukraine, throughout the world, if we see history, we see then Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, these countries also suffered from different kind of political crisis. So when we sympathize with some country, we should not show our indifference to the country, those who are already poor. So rather we should think that the whole world is a global village, and we should work together for the development of humanity. We should not be divided by the country, ethnicity, religion, okay, and the race. So together we can ascend to a new height, guided by our heart's clearest light. So how can we go achieve that height? We can achieve that height if we think from our internally, if we think that we all are one from internally, from the bottom of our heart. Okay, so let's move ahead. Now moving ahead further, the speaker of this poem says, when perceptions are changed, there is much to gain, a flowering of truth instead of pain. So the speaker is basically saying that change your perception and try to see the world, try to look at the world, try to observe the world from new way, from the way of modernity, from the way of progress, from the way of civilization, not from the way of so hatred, not from the way of very communal thought. So change your perception. If you change your perception, if you change your thinking process, then you will gain a lot. There is no pain, there will be no hatred, no discrimination among each other. So if we become able to change our thought, and if we become progressive, we become able to live together, and we become able to experience that global village, global society, that cosmopolitan society. Further, the speaker says there's more to a people than their poverty. Of course, no one wants to be poor. Of course, no one wants like war. Of course, no one wants that kind of situation. No one wants their society, family, themselves or oneself to suffer from poverty. So there is more to a people than their poverty. We always cannot live in poverty. We should so rise above it. There is their work, then there is wisdom, and then there is creativity. So what are the important things in life? The important thing is life is not war, poverty. The important things are work. One should have job, one should use anyone's knowledge wisely. So wisdom is important. Applying our knowledge for the better result, for the betterment of humanity is important. And creativity. Instead of war, poverty, classes, hatred, discrimination, work, wisdom, and creativity are important part of our life. So along the line, may our lives rhyme to make a loving harvest of space and time. Now look at here. As we grow into modernity, as we grow, as the years will pass, our lives, the speaker, so wishes that our lives will may be better, will be better. Our life should be better to make a loving harvest of space and time. So how can we make our life very synchronized? We can make our life very synchronized when in time and in any place everyone will be happy, everyone will have that kind of wisdom, everyone will have peace, everyone will have job. So anyone, those living in Canada, those living in Europe, those living in US, those living in Nepal, so all people will be able to experience that fraternity, brotherhood, peace, and the meaning of life when everyone will have very positive mindset, when everyone will have very so equal so kind of treatment to each other. Okay, so moving further, the poem ends, and how I hope you have understood the poem. And please, if you like this lecture, do not forget to subscribe my channel and share this video so among your friends. And your one sharing means a lot of caring to me, and then your so subscription and your sharings, comments, likes always provides me motivation. So please do not forget to subscribe the channel. Thank you. We'll meet soon. Have a good day.